Hey guys, welcome back to Detroit Garage. A little bit more progress on the dyno. Got it painted up and kind of scabbed together with cooling hoses and whatnot. Did a lot of bench testing on all the items, mostly gauges and the dyno control panel. And yeah, the dyno control panel works. I wasn't able to test the tachometer on it, but I believe it should work well. I've checked the loom and everything's fine there. So it's a simple tachometer, so there's no reason why it shouldn't work. So anyway, it's some more progress. Got the radiator flushed. Took 2 hours to flush this out. Used a bit of caustic soda and some detergent, and yeah, 2 hours and it came clean. So there's no reason why it shouldn't work. It doesn't leak, so we'll put that back into service. I still need to get a fan for it. I think I'm gonna go with an electric 16-inch automotive fan or something of that nature and put that on, rather than running fans on the dyno engines. So scabbed together some cooling hoses that came with it from before. So looking pretty. I still have to make a safety, I guess a safety chain or a safety rod. So the plan is to weld a bracket here, 1/2-inch rod to here, and then safety pin. And then I still have to make the 1/4-inch caps for these and replace the rubbers when I can find them. But for the little Jimmy, he really doesn't need much of that, just the caps probably, and you know, he doesn't produce enough power to really get worried. But yeah, we'll get that done. I've got the rod at home, and then I just need some scrap bits to finish that off. So that's in the works. And then I talked to the machine shop, and God bless them, I think I mentioned they found the seals. So they've ordered 2 seals. I've got 1, and I'm just waiting for 1 more seal, and it's 2 weeks away, and we've got the seals. So these are the old seals with no markings on them, and then they measured them up and ordered the new ones. And this here I've cleaned up on the lathe. That's the seal face for the ceramic seal, and then this seal runs on here. So I'm still waiting for that seal. The dyno control panel, as I mentioned, I load tested it on my my press. And the load cell, I took it apart. It was seized, and cleaned up the bearing and the little slave here, the little shaft, and then painted it, sealed it back up, of course, and then load tested it, and it looks like it works fine. I had to bleed the hydraulics for this. It's all worked on hydraulics, and pumped it right up to 2,000 foot-pounds. Yeah, seems to work fine. So hopefully that works, and then I don't have to buy any aftermarket stuff for it. Some of you guys that know dynos, you know, the OEM stuff's really expensive for these, especially this GoPower system, very expensive. But there's an outfit called Your Dyno, and they build aftermarket stuff. So if this doesn't work, I'll probably end up running a Your Dyno set up with a computer. But anyway, we'll try this first and see how that works. So I'm literally 2 weeks away from getting my seal and then reassembling this unit here. It's stuck underneath there, so the load cell has to be built back up again. or absorber, I should say. Now the water pump, I mentioned that in the previous video. It turned over but was making some nasty noises, so I disassembled it, tested the motor. Motor runs fine, and the pump, cleaned it up. The seals in it were fine. I just lubricated it, put it all back together, bench tested it, works fine. So I'm waiting for a pressure gauge for that, and then I've got to get the hoses all sorted out. Some of the hoses came with the unit, but once I get the tote and figure out where I'm going to put all this stuff, I'll sort out those hoses. I'm going to start with a 325 gallon tote, and that's enough for this little engine. He's got to be run, Detroit manual says to break him in for 2 hours running at full load. So we'll work on that and see. I don't have a dyno room, obviously, so I'm going to put him right outside the front door here and test him out there. That should be fine. So very happy. Yeah, finally I'm going to see the end of this. Been getting quite a bit of interest from friends of mine who want to test their engines on it as well, so maybe it'll get a bit of use. And with any luck, it works. It didn't cost much money, but I put quite a bit of time into it now. Lastly, this control panel, I've tested all these gauges work. This one here, I've got a phone ISPRO. This is an ISPRO gauge, and find out exactly what I need for that. I tried to use my 6.4 thermocouple, but it's not the same ohm capacity, so, or resistance or whatever it uses, so it didn't work. So I believe it uses a 37K thermocouple, but I have to confirm that with ISPRO, and if it does, I can just order it through them, and then that gauge will work again. The oil pressure gauge, I just kind of had one laying around, used that. And the turbo pressure, I built that out of 2 gauges because it was smashed. And then the voltmeter, it works. So I'm missing basically water temperature and oil temp and maybe something else. So I've got the line hooked up here just to kind of see how many, how much distance I've got, but and in a janky battery tray. So yeah, it's coming together. Very happy with it. And within, I'd say a month, 3 weeks or so to a month, I should have this thing up and running, making some noise. The neighbors are gonna love me for that. I will be building the muffler for this. I'm gonna put a 3/8 plate here and a muffler off of an old Deere compressor that I had. So I've got the muffler tucked away somewhere in my junk pile, but for electrics, I'm using the alternator off of my Alice Chalmers, the Buddha diesel. I took it off, and it actually lines up perfectly. So get the belt for that and sort out this bracketry, an adjuster rod and whatnot, and we'll have electrics for the dyno as well. So slowly coming together. Like I said, this has been, oh God, a couple of years, maybe even 3. I'd have to go look back in my videos to see, but at least 2 years I've had this chassis. So perfect setup, guys. Perfect setup if it works well for breaking in Detroits, and the end goal is to be able to tune Detroits. Like I said before, tune 453T. My goal is to get 300 horse out of the 453T, smoke free. So That'll be a lot of fun. Of course, I'll videotape all that when I get around to it, but that's a way in the future here. So for now, I'm just focusing on this simple little dyno and get that thing done. So yeah, break in Jimmy, little Jimmy here, break him in. When he's done, he gets swapped into the forklift. So we're taking the Buddha out, and with any luck, I don't have to do too much surgery to make him fit. I have measured him up, but you know, you don't know until you try to get the engine in there. Well, there you have it, guys. That's the update on the dyno. About a month away from completing it, if all goes well, and be testing the little Jimmy out on it. So looking forward to that. So thanks again for checking in, and we'll catch you on the next video. Take care.